All right, I think we are ready to start. We had some slight technical difficulties here with YouTube changing things. Always a pleasure when using marketing technology. Things change. Hopefully, all of you did receive our emergency email with a new address URL to this specific place. All right, we have the next upcoming webinar here in the Predictive Marketing series. Today, talking about an actual case example we did with our customer Atea here in a cross-selling business scenario, which hopefully will give you more insight what predictive marketing in practice actually means, and you will have the options and possibilities here to ask questions at the end if and when you have any. So please do utilize the comment section or chat section in the YouTube dashboard there below. That probably does require you to be logged in with your Google account, so you can also email me at henrik@idbbn.fi if you were to have any questions or comments regarding this. So we'll take questions and answers at the end. We do have quite a tight agenda here. I won't go through this. You've probably looked at this when registering to our webinar, so you're very familiar with this, but questions and answers at the end. Please do configure your settings so that you use the highest resolution, because as usual, we do have quite a text-heavy slide deck here. So you see all the small bullets points and all the good stuff. We will be sending out all of this material post this session to all of you, so no need to make extensive notes or anything. And I think let's start the show here. I did not show our faces here, I just jumped to the slides, so now you see who's with you today here. It's me, Henrik Lagercrantz, the Vice President of Technical Excellence at IDBBN, the predictive marketing guy, so to speak, at IDBBN. And together with me, we have Hanna Vesenterä from Atea here. Say hello, Hanna.
Hi everyone, I'm Hanna Vesenterä and I'm working as a marketing director in Atea. I do have several years of experience working around marketing, sales and e-commerce, and at the moment I'm responsible for the customer engagement department. There are 3 functionalities and marketing is one of those, and we are also working with e-commerce and customer service.
All right, thank you for that. Let us continue with our saga here. A word from our sponsor, IDBBN. So this is a quick introduction and logo list of our customers that we run digital marketing and marketing automation operations for. No details there. We do services, consulting, execution in 4 product and service categories, of which predictive marketing here at the very top left is the domain which we're talking about today. We do have all the traditional marketing agency operations and creative departments and all that as well, with our marketing technology experts to assist in the end-to-end consulting, planning and implementation operations. But predictive marketing here, as you would assume, the topic for today. Let's get into the actual business environment and the business objectives of this whole predictive project and Atea. So I will be handing over to Hanna here, who shall go through the background a little bit here.
Okay, thanks Henrik. Few words about the Atea. Atea is an IT service provider, and we help our customers to create more productive and a meaningful working environment, and our mission is build the future with IT. I know that business information is not so interesting, but I believe that in that case it really helps you to put the following information to the right context. And I do have recognized that most of our B2B companies with similar big business background do share same challenges. So Atea is a market leader in IT infrastructure, and we are serving businesses and public sectors. And we do have over 7,000 employees, and we are working in across the 7 countries in Nordic and Baltic area. And in Finland, we do have 400 employees. Atea offers a full range of hardware and software, and we are partnering with all the world's top technology companies and do have a lot of specialists and consultants with a lot of technical competencies and with a lot of technical certifications and system integration skills that they can help our customers with really complex IT environments. Our business challenge, when we started that journey, we do have a really wide offering, and we are also operating in 3 roles. Atea is serving as a retailer, we are also integrator, and we have got our own service. And that gives us a large number of products and potential upsell and cross-sell paths. And it was really, really difficult to choose the most important actions and prioritize the marketing efforts. We also have got so broad range of different size of customers with several needs. There might be one-man company and 2 international companies and the public sector. So it really requires a really strict segmentation and the customer management models, and sometimes really, really painful choices where to choose and what marketing actions do first. We also had challenges in timing because customers' procurement times varies a lot of depending on the offering. Example, the one-man company buys a mouse, or international company outsource their IT lifecycle service to Atea. That's the challenge, and also challenge is understand who to contact in the company, because customer decision makers can be a large group to one person, and that also depends on what kind of offering they are purchasing from us. Why we wanted to choose a machine learning? For a few years now, since we acquired a marketing automation system, our vision over then was build a model that is relevant to our customer. And that whole journey started with the desire and interest to build a superior customer experience. And over then, we really wanted to build a model what is based on customer needs, purchase history, and interest. And of course, from the company side, our goal was build a model what is profitable and successful to help our salespeople to gather more sales and be more relevant to their customer, and also increase the digital sales in our web shop. And it is impossible to handle those 3 dimensions with the human knowledge, and so we decided to look for help from machine learning. And we also looked for more scalability, because scalability in non-automation based solutions is not good enough. And we really wanted to find out, is this predictive marketing profitable? And of course, this is way how does it goes nowadays. Now we have got technology to do all these fancy things, and we wanted to be on top of that.
All right. Thank you very much for that debriefing there. So now you all know the context in which we operated here. a little bit of insight also into the marketing technology environment in which Atea operates here. So I won't go through this in details, but you see that from the left here we have, so to speak, top funnel technologies in place there, moving to middle funnel with marketing automation, Eloqua there, and integrations into multiple platforms that as you move to the right, that becomes more bottom funnel data and operations, as they say. We're now developing, and this project is basically part of the red box in the bottom there. So the predictive analytics and the data lake 360 degrees customer and account views, which we're working on. So that you know a little bit about the context in which we operated within this project. All right, project mentioned, so let's talk about the project itself here. So the objectives we had for said projects, Hanna already touched on these to some extent, but to have this clear here, we wanted to use machine learning to find patterns in our data and make scientific deductions on the customers that are most likely to purchase specific video conferencing services. So we selected one set of services from the very, very broad range of products and services that Atea offers to home in on that specific business problem and use that as a pilot case for all this operation. And as we are dealing with existing customers here, this is thus a cross-sell, upsell sort of a scenario here. Of course, the marketing part here is the second one, to build an automated marketing program that is basically always on, so to speak, that is triggered only for the most likely buyers, which is aiming at pushing a product trial for said video conferencing service, and after that, of course, eventually a sale. So we're building a framework here for the identification and analytics part that triggers the operations then whenever we come across potential leads in our pipeline here. A little bit more details on the actual project process, in the sense that what are the phases and what operations did that actually include. So time here, moving from left to right, as one might assume, we have a few tracks here: the data and business track in the top there, and the marketing track below. And the color coding here is about the core competencies in each phase here. In the data and business track, we first did a very agile predictive readiness analysis in which we wanted to ensure that basically data quality, data amounts, and the access to data is sufficient, that it is sensible to embark on this a little bit more of a longer, a more demanding predictive project. So we first did like a proof of concept there to ensure we are good to go with this said project here, which is basically the program target definitions, in which we then defined the products and services and which data sets to utilize, in which platforms do they do said data live in, and who owns the platforms and all of that. So that is basically setting up the project and all the wireframes around that, and what are the business objectives and implementation methods and all that planning and discovery there. After that was done, basically marketing, operations, planning and asset building could already commence there in the marketing track below, but then on the data and business track, data ETL, which stands for extraction, transformation, and loading, which is basically getting your data to the data scientist and making them do do all their magic Python operations with the data to make it suitable for said machine learning purpose. So that is the data ETL box there, and in collaboration there is the predictive analytics, which is basically an iterative process which could go on forever, as your data scientists always come up with conjure new methods of making the model and making predictions even better. But at some point you just, okay, we need to go live with this stuff. We can't polish this any further. So that's an iterative process with gathering more data and getting the data into a better state with predictive analytics in between there. After that has been done, the actual model is ready, and we can do the analysis that reveals who to target with our operations in this one-off operation. So to mention here, what we did here at this point is a one-off operation based on which we either go live or tweak the operations to build it into a constantly on and live integrated process. So this is still at the piloting stage, but marketing operations are actually not, if not today, but very, very close to the state of being launched here. So basically now we are at this green arrow stage here, marketing operations activation. And after that, once the automation, the automated program has been launched, we of course gather insights, do analysis on a few different domains under which I will be talking soon in upcoming slides, and of course then measure, learn, and optimize, in the sense that if we were to go live, in the sense of making this a always on integrated operation, how to tweak the live version based on the insight that we gathered here. So that's the actual project description. And this is just a reminder from the previous webinar here that the typical roadmap for companies in starting with predictive marketing, basically we've commenced the 4 first stages here, and moving along in maturity as we go along here. A little bit about the data used in said process. We have 2 sets of data here. On the left, we have the data used for machine learning, and then the actual input data for the predictive model there on the right. Basically, the data set is actually quite simple here. We have purchase behavior and firmographics, meaning all company data, in addition to basically label data, that is, in plain English, that is basically who are the actual purchasers of this specific video conferencing product or service. And this label here means that this is the label with which we teach our machine learning algorithm to recognize similar patterns in our data against these positive labels that, okay, this is the positive outcome of data analysis, and please machine, do learn to recognize all data signatures that would relate to this positive label here. So that was used to in the machine learning algorithm there. We did have a little bit like data quality issues with firmographics, which we then used a third-party data provider to enrich firmographics data, as that is quite easily available at a very low cost. So very worthwhile doing that operation. But all this is feeding into the machine learning algorithm that basically creates a model that is able to identify the customers that are most likely to buy the said video conferencing services. So that is the machine learning part there, which produces the predictive model there, into which we then feed all the data from, all the relevant data actually, from our current customers to give to this machine, so to speak, to give the probability of purchase for each individual company here. So basically we use data to come up with a prediction model, and then we feed all existing customer data into that to rank and get a score for each of these customers in this specific case, which was how likely is this company to buy this video conferencing service from us. So that is basically the data and the process in general. So looking at what the actual marketing operations then in marketing automation were, that is basically then triggered by all of this predictive operations and analytics here. So moving from left to right is from basically like awareness, interest, learn, evaluate, and justify and purchase. So a little bit in sync with the buyer journey there, the elements here. Starting off with basically two different sets of email campaigns. At the top there is a email campaign for their priority group, which was basically a selection based on our analysis and machine learning operations there. And then, of course, at this stage, we did an email campaign for the control group, since we are still at a stage that we want to validate and ensure that all analysis that we do is actually statistically significant and valid to move into a more of an integrated direction and always on. So a control group, of course, in there, 2 email touches, 1 week intervals there with both of these, leading into a landing page which has basically content in there designed to basically convert first into a trial version lead, so to speak there, the first like a software conversion there to get a trial version running, and then the sales lead conversion, so to speak, would be the contact sales form there, which generates a lead to sales, and then process continues from there. But if a individual does not react or convert in either of these forms there, we have the nurture flow capturing these contacts and trying to push you towards the trial version. And if you do the trial version ordering, we want to make sure that we follow up on and then have communications alongside with your trial going on there to maximize the probability of an individual utilizing the actual product in the trial, and thus becoming a person who actually pays for the for said project. Of course, we at the end do like a customer satisfaction surveys and gather data in that sense there as well. So this is the automated operation that is basically launching today, or if not have launched already, but basically one-off at this point, but easily switchable into a always-on drip type of an operation. If we were to run the predictive analysis, let's say once per day, all relevant contacts could be fed into this program and taking care of the operations then. A little bit on how to measure performance in predictive projects. We have basically like 3 domains of items we want to look at when looking at the overall performance of the whole project here. As mentioned, this is basically the pilot of said technologies and practices and all operations here. Thus, once doing this the first time here for said predictive model, we of course want to make sure that the data analytics part and the machine learning part and everything related to that, the predictions there, that is all good and accurate. And the KPI set number 1 here is basically would be to look at how well our predictive model then performs and how close to reality does the predictions there then actually come to be. So basically in this we would have KPIs looking at how accurate our predictions in this model is when recognizing, categorizing, or weighing the outcomes of desired future events which in this case was the purchase likelihood for existing customers. There are some specific like data science metrics here, model accuracy, AUC, and confusion matrix, which I'll show you in the next slides there, talk a little bit about those, which are metrics to give you insight, okay, how well our model is actually performing what we would wish it to perform. Then we have on the right-hand side there, we have the KPI set number 2, which is basically the marketing program performance, which is your standard marketing campaign metrics in the sense that how well the components of your marketing program convert prospects and carry them over from the marketing and sales funnel to the next part and so forth. So basically basic metrics and then marketing operations and performance there. But in here we also do comparisons with the control group, looking at the marketing program metrics also here, and basically a little bit assisting the predictive model performance assessment there to ensure that, okay, and perhaps come up with even more insights of how the individuals we predicted would have a very high probability of purchasing. How do they actually react and engage with the actual marketing program? So getting feedback from that as well. The last part here is the KPI set number 3 here. So basically input data validity. So all this engine runs as input data as its oil or fuel, if you have. So looking at how complete or accurate and up-to-date the data is that we actually feed into the predictive model, because this is the input that either makes or breaks the actual prediction there. So we look at key data fields, how complete are the said metrics there, fields, the data quality and all that, looking also at how up-to-date that is, because this data could be, or very likely is coming from multiple systems, and you could have integrations at specific intervals, and if the whole machine in the background is not fully synchronized, that might cause a little bit like a silos or inaccurate data situation. So this is the triad of measuring performance in predictive projects, and in between there's the magic sweet spot. Okay, this is a little bit for those who know the predictive model performance, just to give you a small glance of the accuracy and AUC metrics that we got here, and a confusion matrix, which I don't actually have sufficient time to go through in the detail that it would require, but those who know this stuff can then evaluate how well we did here. But basically our analysis is here that this is a very good situation looking at going forward. So very pleased with these results here. Let's go and look at the challenges we had along this project, and which sort of lessons did we learn, because of course when embarking on operations that you've not done previously, there's bound to be some frictions in new ways of working, very, very technical and data heavy topics, and that of course in itself causes some challenges there. But data at the heart of this whole project, of course, data there. So one would assume that the challenges as they were are very highly associated with data. But that is thus why we have the iterative process of data work and analytics, and then going back to our data and then looking how we could improve. So one would assume that this is the business as usual here. So it wouldn't be a predictive project if there were no data challenges. Please do let me know if anybody attending is there that, okay, we have zero problem with data. I will buy you a beer or refreshment of your choice. But anyways, data-related challenges here, of course, data quality and understanding the data in the sense of the parties involved with performing analysis on data. Even though we would have perfect data quality, making these predictive models does require for the data analyst to understand the process, how this data was acquired, what is the significance of each variable, what is the process behind it, and what does this situation actually reflect in the real world. So data understanding, a very, very key component and verification of data quality once data provided to us. I'm not sure if that's a challenge, but that was like bulk of the work there, of course. When looking at timing issues that were mentioned, basically in the beginning there of this project, we gather data to build the model. So that's historical data that you have ample time to gather and deliver that, and then we do our data modeling and all that, that work. But then when at the very, very end of the journey there, we want to do the final analysis utilizing our predictive model, that okay, let's feed in all the data that we currently have from our existing customers. That data, the desire there, of course, is to use as fresh data as possible. And then when you need to gather it from multiple different platforms before you have sophisticated and highly automated integrations in place, that of course creates some time pressure to access all the data from the right platforms and deliver that to the data scientists. So one must ensure and agree upon times beforehand to look at these schedules. Business as usual, linking purchase history to contacts within Eloqua. So basically different platforms have different data fields as the key value there, which is the unique identifier there. So a lot of mapping and linking multiple different sources together so that we see, okay, data from 5 different platforms, how do we combine these in one holistic view so that the data does not get skewed or connected in a wrong fashion. So that's what was one challenge there. Machine learning part, basically, we call that class imbalance. So the number of existing customers in this analysis actually was quite small, but we managed to tackle that with our machine learning operations, and the capabilities were still achieved in a very desired level. So, but that of course does require a little bit more iterations in the process described previously. Of course, predictive model issues, choosing the right machine learning model for the cross-selling scenario, looking at the data, what platforms, how rich that is, and all that. But I think practical and communications lessons learned here are the most important ones. So as we got so encouraging results from our predictive readiness analysis, I think the mentality there a little bit became that, okay, this is an easy peasy, finally a good situation with very, very good data, and this is going to be a walk in the park. So a little bit that's sort of an ideology, perhaps, at least at my end there, which resulted in not pre-scheduling these regular communication sessions regarding data, and that which then led to a little bit ad hoc discussions, and that should be definitely fixed going forward. And small team, key member vacations, and no backup persons, because both parties here, not like super large teams with the sufficient knowledge of the business and operations. So as we had Christmas here and everything, flu season upon us, that had its own challenges as well, but lessons learned definitely going forward. Okay, this is where we are now. So going live with the said pilot here, I would like to give Hanna now the chance to discuss the next steps for Atea in data-driven marketing, before we head to our questions and answers session. So if you have any questions answered, do post them below, and we'll catch them in a while. But the next steps.
Okay, thanks. Next thing what we are going to do is, of course, put the campaign on, and after that we want to carefully analyze results and see how successful marketing pilot was. I think we really need to see the actual numbers, the sales numbers, and not only the open rates. We want to see if customers really bought this solution after the campaign. And we also are going to collect feedback from our salespeople. And I think that we should choose a next target with them. And if this will be a successful story, we are willing to scale our machine learning to other product and service areas as well, and want to move from one-off operations to continuous predictive analysis and marketing automation. And hopefully, I really believe that probably in the year time, we can develop a more relevant marketing to our customers and help our sales to be more successful, especially in their timing. And hopefully we can finally say that marketing automation is a truly automation machine with that help with machine learning.
Yes, definitely. I like the making marketing automation and true automation machine. I like that because that's a paradox of marketing automation. You would assume that it's a robot that does everything, but basically in the beginning of your journey it actually tends to increase the amount of work. But of course said work is a little bit different in nature when looking at from like a traditional marketing implementation sense. So I think and I believe as well that this predictive analysis and all this, when made into an automated, integrated operation with all the relevant data flowing in automatically, and the analysis happening at a fast-paced interval, and then the operations triggered based off of that, that is where we're actually starting to come to this, realize the actual promises that marketing automation has actually been telling us, so to speak, for many years. So I think we're at the brink of something big here. But that being said, brink of something big, Tiina, do we have any big questions? Anything our massive audience is dying to hear from either of us?
Hello. There hasn't been questions on the YouTube chat, but we received one with email. So it would be, if you now started the project again, what would you do differently?
Nothing, because I mean, this is a learning process. We've never done this before, and we have no example or any cases same than ours, and we have got our original data set up, and I mean, there is no other way than just be brave and try and see the results.
Yes, thank you. No further questions at this point, but please send them also afterwards. We are replying then with Henrik.
Yes, definitely. Let's put our final slide here. So basically, additional information where we want to drive you after consuming our said content marketing operations here. So we very much hope you find our databank online, idbbn.com/databank, in which we have predictive marketing white papers or ebooks for you to download and get into the nitty-gritty details there. We, of course, are ready to help you in the sense of how we could assist your organization with predictive analysis, analytics, or predictive marketing, predictive readiness analysis, and basically similar project operations that we have gone through here. Please do contact me or Matti, contact information here as you see them. We have next up in this webinar series, so to speak, we have another similar case study oriented webinar coming up next month, so please do stay tuned for more episodes on this topic, and very likely that we are going to continue with the predictive marketing track in our webinars. So we have 3 in the pipeline now. This was the second one. Please do register for the third one, and we will conjure up more topics and aspects, probably based on actual feedback for the spring and summertime for you to spend in your summer cottage or villa in Nice or wherever you spend your summer. So I thank you for your time, and we will be in touch soon again. Bye.